Selling on Amazon is honestly one of the best opportunities out there for the average person to make money on the internet and to quit the job that they hate. Unfortunately, it's also extremely confusing, and everybody and their mama is trying to convince you to buy their $5,000 course or to pay thousands of dollars just for a consultation. Now, I'm not trying to knock their hustle, but I do believe information should be free and that everybody deserves a chance to escape the matrix and live life on their own terms. And if you're anything like me when I started, you might not have a spare couple thousand just sitting around to spend on a course. And even if you do got it like that, you'd be far better off spending that money on inventory that you're gonna need to get your business rolling. But before we get into it, I want you to know that this is 100% possible for you to be successful in. If I can do it, you can do it too. And chances are you have some questions, which is why I make videos like this. So if there's any questions that you have that I don't answer in this video, please do not hesitate to comment those questions down below. Seriously, do not be shy. I will either answer those with a reply as soon as I see them, or I will answer them in a follow-up video. Remember to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of my videos, and please also hit the like button, as that allows us to reach more people like me and you who could definitely use this information. Now, without further ado, it's time to answer those questions.
Reezy Resale. Follow the hustle.
Lots of newbies asking why so many books are requiring approval. So if you are newer to Amazon, a lot of books are requiring approval, but the good news is when you go into your account and request approval from the desktop, not from the app, you should get approved. But then again, things change on the platform every single day. Can you please share a list of best sellers rank for each category so that we know which BSR is good to go with? So check it out. If you go to my website, reezyresales.com, there is a list of like drop down in the corner, and there's like tools and like free stuff. So I have my free Amazon beginners course, which is there, but there's also something that says sales rank chart, and you'll get a sales rank chart mailed to you every single month, which is updated to show the best ranking products in each category, or the best ranks by percentage, and not just for US, also UK. I don't actually send any emails out to anybody that signs up on that list. I'm actually slipping on that. Got to get my upsells, my downsells, my Wonka side sales. You know what I mean? E&J e-commerce says, I'm selling books again. What software do you recommend to process books? I've been using Amazon Seller Central and need to change. So there's a few different softwares. Inventory Lab is kind of like the industry standard for creating shipments. The good part about that is it comes with Scoutify 2, which is a free scanning app, but it's only live mode, not database, so it's not going to help you if you're a bookseller. But if you do other things and you have Inventory Lab for that, you can use that for books as well. It's not the fastest. My recommended go-to software to use for listing books is still ScanLister for a couple of reasons. One, you can buy it outright, and they're not going to pimp you out month to month for a subscription fee. There's other softwares that you can use to list books like AccelerList, or even a newer one called GoToLister. And those are probably pretty great. Haven't used either in a very long time, but they do charge you month to month. And even if you do want to buy ScanLister, do a month-to-month subscription first before you buy it so you can see how it goes. But overall, if you're going to be in the game for, you know, any time between now and a decent amount of time, it would be worth it to buy outright. Also, it's a standalone app on the computer, and it runs faster than a web app. That might scare some of you guys, like, I gotta install software? Oh my God. Don't trip, it's easy. It works fast. They have decent customer service. They are pretty quick, like a day or two to update when there's changes to Amazon systems, sometimes even in the same day. Their Facebook group is real active. If you have a problem and you go there, someone's probably already been in there talking about the same problem and they're already fixing it. So I still recommend ScanLister. And if you guys do want to pick that up, go to scanlister.com/Reezy. Creative Income Life. Any YouTube tips for 2023? Actually, yeah, I got a huge tip for you. I'm going to drop you this tip right here. Cost me $800. So I did a consultation with Daryl Eves. He's a YouTube educator. Shout out Daryl Eves. It is find out the main keywords or key phrases in your niche or your niche, however you want to say it, and make 10 to 20 videos about that topic, but with the same title, tags, keyword, description, all that. What you're going to be doing is programming the algorithm to say, hey, algorithm, I make videos about this. And if you do your job, especially if you try to make each one better than the last, I'm not saying make the exact same video. I'm saying make the same video 10, 20, 30 times in different ways, but with the same overarching subject that will apply to the same person that's looking for that video, so that when a user goes and searches Google or YouTube, and another key tip is to make sure that phrase is an auto-suggested phrase on YouTube and Google. This is the key to winning search engines. Title your things with those exact things. The front of the title, the front of the product name, those are always heavily weighted for search engine algorithm. And you will be showing up in those search results, you better believe it. Do you prefer SellerAmp or Keepa? Those aren't even really comparing things. Like, you need Keepa, and if SellerAmp is your preferred tool to use for looking items up, which it probably is if you're not a bookseller. It doesn't have database yet. I'm hopefully going to be working with SellerAmp in the future, and that's one of the things I'm going to have them bring to the table. So if you see your boy wearing a SellerAmp shirt talking about SellerAmp, you know your boy got paid and the product's going to get a little bit better. It's already really good. Not that I have a ton of experience with it, but I know people who, you know, day in, day out, this is what they live and breathe, is reselling, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and they have Scoutify 2 for free through Inventory Lab, and they still prefer to use SellerAmp. So I think that's a pretty good feather in the cap for SellerAmp. But you got to have Keepa. How are you going to sell and not have Keepa unless you're, you know, super focused on just one arena and you're just going off of the sales count or the e-score in whatever app that you're using? Tatted Picasso on TikTok says, is thrifting resell dead? And I love that question, because guess what? Thrifting will never be dead. Thrifting is never going to die. That's like hooking. It'll be around forever. If anything, at some point in the future, online arbitrage might disappear. Because when you think about online arbitrage, right, in a normal sense, like buying it over here for cheap and then selling it over here for more, that's like a discrepancy. That's like a glitch in the matrix. That shouldn't even exist. Like, they don't have their together, and that's why that happens. And even in retail now, stores have digital price tags. So it's not happening too much right now, but like, they don't have to pay people to walk around and change the price tags on anymore. But think about it, there might be a time and day in the future where once a day the retail stores update their price before the store opens to match the current going price of Amazon. Or like, instead of going to Google to look for stuff or going to Amazon to buy stuff, everybody goes to thebestprice.com, and it's just one portal, and that's even linked up with your Siri and your Google Home, to where you're just like, yo Siri, buy me a pair of this or of that, and then you don't even know what website it came from, and you don't even know what price you paid, but you know you got the cheapest price because it aggregated it all. And then even on our side, we won't even know what platforms we're selling on. But the moral of the story is that even if online arbitrage gets atrophied from people getting their together, and retail arbitrage, and that's all just talking about MSRP, not talking about selling above market price, thrifting and used stuff, especially cool used stuff, is never going anywhere. For example, vintage t-shirts are super popular, right? Like, this is not a vintage t-shirt, right? This is a reissue Diamond Supply times blind shirt. But if this was a vintage blind t-shirt, like from when I was a kid, especially in this condition, this would be worth $100. Easy. And you might find it even overpriced at a thrift store for $10. Reselling, especially of vintage items, is never going anywhere. Retro Toy Envy says, nope, it's not dead. The people that complain don't understand the game or go one time a week and expect a score. So check this out, guys. One thing that I teach everybody that with me is that not only do you need to develop relationships with the thrift stores that are on your route, right? These are the ones, your route. These are the ones you go to every day. You go to them regularly. You need to be in there like swimwear. You need to know everybody that works there's name. If they told you their kid's name, you got to know that. I'm serious. Keep a spreadsheet of this, right? The ROI on caring and remembering people's names and stuff, it will through the roof. That's $1 million ROI right there. Bringing a box of donuts. Wait till you see me post out that reel here's how I made $1 million off a box of donuts. You're going to be like, what the f is Reezy is tripping? $1 million off a box of donuts? But yeah, because I brought a box of donuts to the store and I befriended them, and now they let me look at the shit before they put it out. You need to have your finger on the pulse of that store. You need to know how often do they get new inventory, when do they put it out, what days do they put it out, who normally puts it out, and you need to get to the point where they're texting you that like, yo, we're putting new out, Reezy, come get it. Or you get there and you're like, no, I'll put it out, no worries, like just chill, do whatever else you're gonna do, I'll put all this stuff out. Now you get to look at it all before it goes out. And they're happy as hell to have you do that. And then once you have those relations, you need to take everything that you can make money on, that you know about, which is still not everything, you need to buy all of it. And the reason is because you want to keep the cupboard bare so that when the next person gets there and they start scanning, they're like, this place, there's nothing here. And then they don't stay and they don't come back. Nick Sen says, I sent in like 12 pairs of Nikes to FBA and sat at the fulfillment center for a month. Then they said they don't have it. I had to submit the receipt. Will they just reimburse me? So if Amazon lost your inventory, they will reimburse you. However, they're not required to reimburse you at fair market value like they previously were. Now, the terms of service basically said you get what we give you. They're going to be giving you a reimbursement probably equal to the lowest price that item has sold for in the last 30, 60, or 90 days. I'm not exactly sure how they do it. I just know that you don't get to say, you know, what they owe you anymore, and proving it doesn't matter. When you started, how did you do with doing your taxes? Hey, this is a fun story, and I hope the IRS is not watching. When I first started selling on Amazon, way back around, you know, right around the time computers were invented, Amazon didn't issue tax forms. And so I didn't file taxes for a very long time. Somewhat down the line, that came to bite me in the butt because I eventually started filing taxes properly, but I had all this inventory that was unaccounted for. And so I forget what my CPA did, but I think we paid back like a little portion of it each year until it was actually believable. But taxes are no joke. Honestly, it's the worst thing in the world. Taxes are stealing the man. Like, I hate it. Like, I seriously pay enough taxes to where you could buy a house in the middle of America. I'm not saying in the best place in America, but like, I paid like 30 grand taxes last year. Taxes are a big part of the game. There's so much different stuff like, oh, you can pay your minor child up to $12,000 a year tax-free. You got more minor children, that's more tax shelters. Now, they still have to pay payroll tax on that money, and because they're your kids, you own that money, but you don't have to pay income tax on that money, and that's a huge savings, right? There's other things like if you're self-employed, you got to pay 15% self-employment tax, but if you file as an S corporation and you get your business organized as an S corporation, the IRS tax law says you have to pay yourself a reasonable amount, and there's no actual amount that it says, no rules or whatever. So you can't pay yourself like $5, but you could pay yourself 20,000, 25,000 or whatever, and then you pay payroll taxes on that amount like it's your regular check W-2 style. But then any money you take out of your business after that, any draws, like legit just checks to yourself that you write from your business account, those are not subject to that 15% self-employment tax. But let's say you make $100,000 profit and you don't incorporate your business, you're going to owe 15 grand of self-employment tax on that 100,000. But if you instead pay yourself 20,000 on payroll, which gets taxes taken out of it, right? Like a normal job, that 80,000 left, you're going to save that 15% self-employment tax on that 80,000. Which is very huge. And this is, you know, this is that category of they didn't teach us in school that they should have. But that's not the way the system works, because the system is, you know, designed to create more workers and more laborers. It's not designed to make more people who are going to be on top. You know what I mean? They hide in the good and they're just giving us the most watered down education ever. My last advice about taxes, guys, is if you're small enough, you can do it yourself. It's not a big deal. TurboTax, Tax Slayer, whatever, on the internet. It's simple. But once you get to a certain level, you're probably going to want to have a CPA and a bookkeeper separate. The reason why you want this separated is because you can talk straight game with your bookkeeper, and you could be like, look, like they're not on the hook for anything. They just do the books, and you want to cook that. So you're going to be like, yo, can I start a skateboard company and buy a $10,000 heat press and then put it as marketing for my YouTube channel? Will that work? Can we do that? Yeah, we can. All right, cool. Let's do that. So that's how the books get labeled. And then that's how you send them off to the CPA. And then the CPA just asks you, cold stare, like, yo, these books are good. We're good. You sign your little form and you're good to go. Your CPA is like under legal. You know, they're not going to lie. They're not going to help you be super tricky. They're going to tell you the laws and the tax laws you should follow to make something happen. But your bookkeeper is the one who's going to really help you save money and organize everything into the different pots so that you pay the least amount of tax as possible. There is a CPA. He's pretty cheap. He's used to e-com. I probably have an affiliate link that I don't remember right now, but Not Your Dad's CPA. He skateboards, so I mean, why not? And he resells. So just go check him out. If you're really cool, send me a DM and I'll send you my affiliate link whenever I remember it and get my together. I switched to him recently from my last CPA, and I'm getting the same exact service for like under $500, and I was paying like $2,500 to the other CPA that I was with before. But still, that's not that hard to find. If you absolutely cannot find one, you can use bench.co, which is like a company online, and they have an app and they make it painless for you. But it might be a little bit more expensive depending on how you have your accounts set up. They charge you based on how many accounts you have. So if you have like 8 bank accounts and 12 credit cards, it's going to be like $350 a month for bookkeeping. And you don't want that. But if you're small, you can do your own bookkeeping. You're not going to be able to do a lot of creative stuff, but at least you can have the QuickBooks Self-Employed app, and then every month or every week you can go through and categorize everything and keep it clean and neat so that maybe at the end of the year you can consult with a bookkeeper to do some more advanced stuff. But your goal is to just keep everything nice and neat. At the very base level, I'm just going to throw this out there because sometimes I feel like everybody knows the basic stuff, but not everybody does. And so make sure that you have a separate credit card and a separate bank account for all of your business related stuff. That is going to save you so much time and headaches in the future. That way you don't have to separate any of your transactions out. You know, your postage coming from the business credit card, the things you're buying, business credit card. You know what I mean? When you pay off the business credit card, pay it off from the business checking account. Ooh, this is a good one. If you were to go back to college, what would you major and minor in? So I dropped out of high school in 10th grade because I had a kid and got married at age 16. I got a GED, which stands for Good Enough Diploma, if you don't know what I mean. I don't know. I think in the past I would have like chosen programming or something like that. I don't know. It's hard to say. There's so much different stuff. But if you're not a creative thinking, self-driven person, don't drop out of school. Stay in school, kids. Like if you're not ready to just like make it happen and figure it all out on your own, you're probably not going to be an entrepreneur, and you need to stay in school and get you a job that's going to get you like an easy $50,000 a year, $65,000 a year, or even higher, up to where you can get a 6-figure salary, you know, with medical coverage, doing something that you don't hate, hopefully. I would do a little bit of research, and I would probably pick the thing that I hated the thought of doing the least. That falls into the category of like, if you got that paper, you can get that job right now. Not something that's like, I've got a PhD in business degree. Like that's not going to guarantee you a job. You know what I mean? So it would be something, you know, maybe like a doctor or something. Something where, you know, AI is not trying to replace your right now. You don't want to go to school and have a fat Sally Mae loan, and then, you know, some app comes out and does your job for you. You know what I mean? You're going to be. That Creative Income Life says, are you using just the YouTube search bar for keywords or tools? So I use a lot of tools. TubeBuddy, which I pay for, but has a free version. vidIQ has a free version. Those will all show you what keywords are ranking when you look at them on YouTube. They're not necessarily the most accurate. So incognito browser and the search bar, that is the #1 best way. And even something like DuckDuckGo browser, something that has no data about you at all. Because if you don't use an incognito browser when you're trying to figure out what the keywords are on any search engine that are going to rank better, that's going to be subject to your own previous habits of surfing the internet, cookies, cache, all that good stuff. And you want the most broad with no input from anything. You want to know what the raw actual search results and search ranking is. And yes, titles and tags and keywords matter. The biggest creators that have the most success, especially if your video is going viral because it's getting a lot of engagement, whatever platform it's on, it knows it's viral because it gets a lot of engagement. And if you're a large creator, you're Mr. Beast, your videos are going to do good no matter what. Everyone else is fighting for scraps, and every little scrap you can get to help yourself matters greatly. So yes, SEO, keywords, tags, descriptions that are SEO optimized, all of that stuff matters. If you want a great tool for YouTube, Morning Fame is amazing. It's a small company. I think it's just one guy. That's my favorite. That's the best YouTube tool ever. So it will tell you how well a video will rank on your profile. So it knows what videos do good for you. So like all these other tools, when they tell you that a word or a phrase has this much ranking power or this is blah, 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 it's generalized across everybody. But when you go to Morning Fame and your YouTube is tied up with it, they can tell you how well that will work on your specific channel. So if you have a channel that makes Lego videos and I make how to sell on Amazon, it's going to be much harder for me to rank for a video about Legos. And it's going to be harder for you to rank for a video about how to sell on Amazon. YouTube is a business, guys. You can make a lot of money on YouTube. Look at Pat Flynn. If you don't know who Pat Flynn is, he has a business podcast channel, Smart Passive Income with Pat Flynn. I think SPI, Smart Passive Income with Pat Flynn. Over the pandemic, he started a new YouTube channel based around Pokemon cards, something that he loved as a kid, whatever, got back into. And in less than 2 years, he got that up to over 500,000 subscribers. Like, you don't think that's, an accident, right? He knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like, anybody can make money on YouTube, but you have to be smart about it. Like, I did a lot of dumb when I started YouTube. I put a lot of my family vlogs on my main channel. That really hurt my growth. If I wouldn't have done that, I would definitely be over 500,000 right now. I wouldn't be sitting at 462. Yes, I did check it today. I'm sorry. I am that guy. I went back and forth on it. Should I make a vlog family channel? Should I not? And I finally did. And now I'm glad because it gave me a lot more clarity. Like, when you guys come to my YouTube channel, you want this. This is the reason that you want. You want just me to spill knowledge on you so you can learn and just take whatever's in this brain and transfer it over to your brain. You don't want to see me like, hey, I'm in Italy. Hey, I'm in Paris. Hey, I mean, to me, that's cool. That's what I want to see. But you have to be self-aware to know what your audience wants to see, right? It doesn't mean don't do what you like to do. Don't do it in your own way. Like, got skateboards on the wall. I talk how I want to talk. I wear what I want to wear. You know what I mean? And to me, that's all like cultural input anyways. So it helps me to relate to the people that relate to me. And it also helps me to push away the people that don't relate to me. Like, if you watch me and you're like, I don't know about that Reezy guy, he's acting black again. Maybe you don't resonate with me. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Like, nah, fool, we're good. I'm fine with that too, because you don't want to have mainstream audience. You want to have a loyal core audience in your niche. Like, you got to niche down, If you started with over 1,000, how would you scale? Starting from scratch or knowing what I know and having 1,000? Those are two different things. I would say everybody should start used, and you should know how to sell on multiple platforms, not just Amazon. And if you're going to do Amazon, hopefully you could start with books because they're very cheap and you can learn all of the lessons you need to learn without making too many mistakes. Get on the ground with your feet running and you could make mistakes, take chances, get messy, the Miss Frizzle method, you know what I mean? And figure it out, because otherwise, what are you going to do? You're going to get some wholesale. You're going to get like 2 wholesale orders. You're going to get like 1 private label order. There's a good amount of retail and online arbitrage opportunities. Oh, y'all heard that? Tell me you heard that cha-ching right now. That means I just sold a t-shirt on Merch by Amazon. I love it when it happens when I'm actually live. It's just cool, man. That means I made $3.46. But actually, my Merch by Amazon store has been killing it. I don't know what happened, but in the last 3 months, I've been averaging like $40 to $60 a day on my Merch by Amazon store, which I haven't touched for over 2 years. Merch by Amazon or print on demand in general, like, it's harder to get approved on Amazon, they're not really accepting accounts very frequently. You might buy an Amazon merch account, but do some research, because when you buy a Merch by Amazon account, obviously you're going to want to switch the bank account to your bank account. And from the minimal research that I've done, I see a lot of people get clapped up at that point. Amazon just shuts it down. So that might mean you can get them for less than what they're worth. But if you can get like a tier 10 account and start working on that and building it up to where you can put more shirts, that would be great. If you can't do that, you can still use Redbubble, which is not as much traffic as Amazon, but Etsy has an incredible amount of organic traffic. The difference with Etsy is you're going to link Printful to Etsy. So Amazon's not fulfilling the shirts, Printful is. It's still completely automatic, but it costs 20 cents to list an item on Etsy. So for every 5 items, that's going to be $1. But the problem with print on demand is oftentimes you make a lot of shirts and they don't all sell. I'd say less than 10% of every shirt I've ever published on any platform actually sold. But the more you make, the better you get. The ones that sell, you make variations of them. You know what I mean? So it's very strategic. And they do stay on Etsy for 6 months for 20 cents, which is great. The great thing about print on demand is if you make a shirt once and it sells, it can continue selling forever and ever. I have shirts that I made on my phone that sell well and have sold 500 to 1,000 times and will continue to sell more and more into the future. It's like, honestly, I think that print on demand is equal, if not better, to selling books. Like, I'm super duper serious about that. I know people that make more than I make off of YouTube. So they're making over 20 grand a month and they do print on demand, and they don't do YouTube. They don't do social media. But for the last 6 years, 6 or 7 years, while I've been grinding out YouTube, they've been grinding out print on demand. And in that time period, they've built up an arsenal of designs and they've figured the system out. And now they're making more than 20 grand a month take home to their bank, right? From print on demand. And you don't have to touch a product. You know what I mean? You don't have to do customer service, like maybe a little bit on Etsy, right? Dave says print on demand makes more than books. We need to have a chat. Dave, you got people helping you out, man. You got time to take a break and figure out some new hustles. And you can do print on demand, learning it and doing it while you're at the warehouse already. So you can still be at the warehouse, cracking the whip and doing your leadership thing, but you can also be designing stuff. And I did some designs, but I outsourced the designer to the Philippines and the uploader and all that stuff. I learned everything that I know about print on demand from RJ Martinez. He goes by RJ Hustles on YouTube. So funny story is that he learned how to resell from me. Like, he hit me up on Snapchat back in the Snapchat days, like, Reezy, should I quit my job? And he's like at work in his little cute work uniform, you know? And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, if you're ready to go, sure, get it. And he did everything. He did books, he did OA, he did RA, he tried wholesale, he does Airbnb, and eventually he started print on demand and had a ton of success. And now he still continues that success, but he also teaches print on demand. So if you want to learn print on demand, go with RJ Hustles. He's a trustworthy guy and he has a lot of content. He's on TikTok, he's on Instagram, he's on YouTube. Go check out RJ Hustles. That's my boy. Aaron on TikTok wants to know, what does a tier 10 account go for? I have no clue. I have no clue. So my advice to you guys would be to get on Facebook groups and start asking questions about purchasing accounts, or even before you ask questions, do what respectful people do and hit the search on the right side and then search the group for, is anyone selling an account, buying an account, I want to buy an account, all those different types of words, and see what you can find before you ask a question that's been answered already a million times, right? People appreciate that. But there are websites where you can, technically you're not buying an Amazon account, you are buying a business that has an Amazon account, because you're not allowed to actually buy and sell Amazon accounts, but you can certainly buy and sell your business, and your business can have an asset in the form of an Amazon account. But hey, do me a favor, Aaron, if you go down that rabbit hole and you figure it out, can you send me a DM and let me know? But yeah, like I said, there is a little bit of danger about it getting shut down easily, so don't pay too much, right? And once you have an account, you can definitely exponentially grow that. There's so many different ways to do print on demand. User 718-998-1234 says, I'm stuck with Target. They're not ungating me. Keep submitting your invoices. Whatever invoice you have, if you haven't submitted it a dozen times at least, then you're not sure that they're not really taking it, right? And so I don't mean reply, close the case, let it be, whatever, open a new case, and then resubmit. It's so automated. You guys got to understand this. The internet is very big, but the amount of people that are actually running the internet, and like as a whole, very small. And so you need to keep submitting it until you get the attention and you get your approved. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Closed mouths don't get fed. Robert Cougar says, Reezy, do you coach? Yes, I do. I don't advertise it very well because I'm not good at monetizing you guys. Like, that's kind of part of my brand too. But if you go to my bio on TikTok and Instagram, you can book a consultation. It's not cheap, but I will save you a lot of time and headache, and that will ultimately help you make more money. So I do one-on-one consultations. You can do a half hour. I can probably answer all your questions in a half hour. If you got a ton of questions and you need more help, we can do an hour consultation. And I also have a paid Discord. It's $100 a month. And in that Discord, it's a lot of sellers like you and me, and we all share, and you know what I mean? They're my followers. So everyone is it's like the least toxic Discord that you'll ever be in. I'm pretty proud of the Discord. Like, if you're in my Discord and you're like, guys, my daughter started a t-shirt business, people in the Discord will go buy t-shirts from your daughter. It's a really good community. So I'm not pushing that at all, but if you need it, I got you. Jason Chef TX says, what scanner do you use for books? I have a link in my bio. I think I do. I might not. But for Kit, like if you go to kit.co/Reezy Resells, there's a $40 eYoYo, $40-ish eYoYo scanner. It's great. There is like a $65 one that's a ring scanner. That one's even better. Okay. So the eYoYo one and the ring scanner, they're both real laser scanners. They're not CMOS imagers. If you're going to get the ring scanner, make sure it has the yellow button and not the orange button. The orange button one sucks. The yellow is mellow. Orange is not good, okay? What's your to-go store for arbitrage? Okay, that's a great question. So tactical arbitrage, that's the #1 tool for finding deals and arbitrage for online arbitrage. Whatever your favorite store is, or my favorite store, or whatever, it doesn't matter, because if I tell you my favorite store, people are going to go and use that a lot, and then it's going to be not a favorite store anymore. So what I recommend is that you start your searches from Z to A on tactical arbitrage and skip every store that you recognize. So if you're going to do a search for a business, skip all of the ones you recognize. Don't go to Walmart. There's there, but everybody's buying from Walmart. So you might get some good, but the prices are liable to tank really fast, because guess what? There's where a lot of people are looking, a lot of beginners. Beginners have paper hands, and so the price gets tanked very quickly. But to answer your question in a more specific tactical way, I really recommend that everybody signs up for SalesGazer. SalesGazer is a free website. It gives you an email inside of their little system, an inbox, and they give you all of the sales that are happening in all the stores on the entire internet. So, I mean, it's not obviously not every single one, but it's like a one-click, one-stop shop to get all of the coupons and sales that are happening on the internet. So what store is the best store for online arbitrage? Is the store that's having a sale today that makes you profitable. So those sales, tactical arbitrage can't see those sales. It can scrape the prices on the screen, but if you have to put a coupon code in, or you can't see the sale price until the item hits your cart, tactical arbitrage can't see it. But because you know the store's having a sale, because you use SalesGazer and you saw the sale and you verified it manually yourself, you can manually put those discounts into your tactical arbitrage search, and now you're finding profits that people who aren't putting in those codes don't know are that actual price, and to them it doesn't seem profitable. So what's the best store to scan for online arbitrage? The store that's having a sale today that's going to help you make money. If anybody needs any help beyond all the content that I've ever created in the past, you can DM me. We can set up a consultation. You can join my paid Discord where you can have more access to me. And don't you worry, your boy's going to be back on YouTube in no time. I love you guys. Have a good night. And remember, if you ain't flipping, you slipping. Peace, fam.